Hey you guys, it's Peter, and welcome to my channel, Peterisms, where I tell stories of my life and just little things that I have learned as I've grown into the person that I am today. And I actually wasn't going to make a video over on this channel today. I have been really struggling with some back pain the last couple days, and I woke up in the middle of the night and almost couldn't get out of bed. If you followed my vlog last year, my other videos, you know that I went through something very, very similar last year. I do have a doctor's appointment tomorrow, so fingers crossed about that. And I took some leave and my back is feeling a little bit better and I've been walking around. So it's not as bad as it was last summer, but I was a little afraid today when I woke up that it was gonna get there again. And so I was like, okay, let's be preventative. Let's go to the doctor now. So, I've just been kind of lazing around. I did my vlog, and then I did a review video, and I came home, and I was just kind of cleaning up the house, and I was talking to my neighbors outside and stuff, and I thought, I'm going to do a Peterisms video because I think it would be really good for me to read some meditations and get inspired today and maybe feel a little bit better. That's one of my tools that when I'm kind of struggling, or, you know, people always ask me, they're like, do you wake up every single day and you're so positive? You seem so positive. No, I don't. And it's actually work for me. You know, something that I have today that I didn't have 26 years ago when I got sober, and I didn't even have, let's say, 2 to 4 years ago, in the way that I have today is I have a box of tools. I have a toolbox that there are things that I can do, and when I'm struggling, I can pick up the phone and I can call my sponsor, or I can call my best friend, I can, you know, be honest with my husband about how I'm feeling and what's going on with me, which I think is really important to let our partners or our close immediate family that we live with know what's going on with us, so it's not like they're trying to figure it out. You know, our families are not mind readers. So it's important to do that, you know, and I don't feel so all alone when I reach out to people, and it's not like they can fix the problem, but just to hear somebody on the other end say, hey, I'm really sorry that you're going through that, or I hope things get better, really, it helps a lot sometimes, and it makes me feel not so all alone. The other thing that I do, which is interesting because this was the topic of my home group meeting last night, is gratitude. Is that I go to a point of gratitude and I look at the things that I do have in my life, you know? And I was talking on my vlog today about the fact that I know there are so many people that watch my videos that live with chronic pain every single day, and I have only had glimpses of that, and I don't understand what that is like, but just having gone through what I have gone through, I can't even imagine what it is like for people that live with chronic pain. And I was saying that those of you that do are very inspiring to me, that you continue to get up every single day, because one of the things that's really hard is when your physical pain starts fading, I think it affects your mentality as well, because when you don't feel well, if you're sick and you have a cold, or, you know, you're just down and out, or you have the flu or whatever, you know, or if you have back pain, just something small like that, you know, if you look at it, for those of us that don't have chronic pain, it affects your mood. It affects, you know, you're maybe a little more short-tempered, or you don't feel well, or whatever. And then, you know, if you can think about it to somebody that has chronic pain on a daily basis, I can't even imagine. And yet I know people in my personal life that struggle with chronic pain, and they get up every day and they're positive. And I'm like, you know, what do you do to get there? And it's just, it's inspiring to me to see the people that continue to just push forward and say, this is my life, and, you know, and this is what I'm going to do. So gratitude for me is a really, active tool that I use. I consider it an action in my life to be grateful for the things that I have. And it was interesting because I've talked on here a lot about going back and doing a written gratitude list, and I still haven't. You know, I did it like 1 or 2 nights and then I stopped. And I was talking to my sponsor the other night, and she said, you know, you were so excited about life in November when you were doing that gratitude book. She was like, I think you need to go back to doing those actions that were in there. And, you know, it's interesting to me, I think, as just society in general, we do something that works for us to get us to feel better. But then when we feel better, we kind of stop doing the things that worked for us. You know, I would say a lot of people. I wouldn't say, I don't want to generalize and say the majority. Me, sometimes, you know, I'll do the things that make me feel better, but then when I feel better, I stop doing those things, which is ridiculous, isn't it? Like, I should have continued to just do a gratitude list every single day because it works so positively for me, you know? So I'm going to go back and I'm going to start doing a gratitude list. But anyway, I wanted to read some of these meditations today because whenever I read meditations, it kind of gets me out of self, gets me out of, my mind spinning, and makes me think of other things, makes me think of ways to improve myself, improve my life. So I'm going to read these books. I brought the 2 Melody Beatty books. I also bought A Year of Positive Thinking because I thought, well, starting from a point of positivity is always a great place to start, So let's get into this. It is May 19th. I'm going to read from A Year of Positive Thinking, Daily Inspiration, Wisdom, and Courage by Cindy Spiegel first. All right, let's see. It's going to be real short, watch. May 19th, it's just a quote. May 19th, incomplete self-compassion. If your compassion does not include yourself, it is incomplete. Jack Kornfield, Buddha's Little Instruction Book. And I love that so much because I think, I talk about in my vlog trying to be more compassionate people and living from a point of love, like it says, in the 4 agreements that we should always lead with love. I think sometimes we often forget to love ourselves first, And these dogs are being crazy today. They just went outside and took a walk around the neighborhood and talked to all the neighbors, and now they're just like feisty. Anyway, I think we often forget to be compassionate and loving to ourselves first, And I talk on here about the importance of taking care of yourself, doing a bath or a face mask or, just taking 20 minutes for yourself, watching a Netflix show, reading a little bit of a book, doing something that makes you happy on a daily basis, I think is really feeding your soul. I think we often forget to feed our souls, and if we do more things, I was talking about this in my Peterisms video the other day, if we do more things that make us happy, then obviously we're going to be happy, more loving, compassionate people. So we have to take care of ourselves and do those things. I'm not talking about in all selfishness where we avoid helping other people or being, selfless and doing acts of kindness. Those, of course, are important. But if we aren't taking care of ourselves and being compassionate and loving to ourselves first, I remember when I got out of treatment, they gave me a coin. And the coin said, you must first be a value to yourself before you can be a value to somebody else. And I think it's so true, I think that I've remembered that through the years, to love myself and take care of myself and make sure that I'm okay, because if I'm not, have you ever thought, like, when you're in a really negative space or you're just not feeling well or whatever, you respond to people from that point of view. But if you're in a loving, caring, compassionate feeling towards yourself, you're going to respond to people that way as well. So I think it's an important question to ask ourselves on a daily basis. Am I loving myself today? Am I happy today? I was driving around, my back hurt, and I, was listening to some music after I got done vlogging, and I thought to myself, I'm really happy in this moment. Like, I'm really happy, And so I think it's important to do those things because it uplifts our spirits, and we have to take care of our emotional and mental spirit as well, So great meditation. All right, let's get into, I'm going to read Journey to the Heart first, because it kind of just was looking at me. Let's see, May 19th. I thought I heard my phone ringing, but my phone is on silent, so that's not it. May 19th. Don't be afraid of making mistakes. Don't be so afraid of making a mistake. That energy can create... Don't be afraid of making mistakes. Start over. May 19th, don't be afraid of making mistakes. Don't be so afraid of making a mistake. That energy can create more mistakes. It can stop us from enjoying what we're doing. It can block us from creating freely and making something beautiful. Sometimes it's necessary and important to make mistakes, to fumble around and do something poorly so we can learn to do it better next time. No matter what we're doing or what we're learning, we have to start somewhere. Look back at the past. We learned by trying, stumbling, falling, getting back up, and trying again. But we wouldn't be where we're at if we hadn't begun where we were. Jump in, begin, and do the task as best as you can. Stop worrying about mistakes. Jump in, begin, and do the task as best as you can. Stop worrying about mistakes, and let yourself do it as well as you can right now. If you do it wrong or poorly, you can do it over again. And when you do it in an attitude of love, you won't fail. You'll learn something new about yourself, life, and the task. Love yourself enough to try. Let yourself make mistakes. Tell yourself you don't have to do it perfectly. Let yourself have fun while you're learning. Start where you are and do what you can. Learning and getting better will happen from there. You may not always know the best way in the beginning, but if you keep trying, you'll quickly learn to tell when you're on track. I think for me, one of the most important lessons in my life is to remain teachable and realize that I'm not perfect and I'm going to err, I'm going to make mistakes, I'm going to fall on my face. And I have learned more in my life. I've learned everything in my life from making mistakes. I haven't learned a lot from being super successful. And if you think about it this way, you know, people will say, well, yes, you do, because if you do something and then you're successful at it, you learn that that's the way to do it. But typically, to get to that point of where you do something successfully, you have to make mistakes to get there first, right? And I've learned so much from the mistakes in my life that I've made, and I have made many mistakes in my life. And that's why today, inventory and doing evaluation over the mistakes that I've made and who I was and who I want to be and how to grow moving forward is so vital and important to me, you know? I was talking to my sponsor when doing inventory and evaluation, and she said, you've got to get to the point where, you know, you stop apologizing for the mistakes that you made because they're all learning steps to getting where you're at, you know? She always says to me, this is an opportunity for change. This is an opportunity for growth. She doesn't really, I mean, she doesn't force stuff down my throat, but she doesn't really allow me to get away with just looking at a situation and saying, oh yeah, next. She'll say, no, this is an opportunity for growth. Are you going to accept it or not, you know? And typically, because I'm a believer that things, you know, if lessons are repeated until they are learned, that if I'm not willing to learn and grow as a human being, then that lesson's going to continue to present itself to me, you know? And so I have to be willing to take a look at things, take responsibility for them, learn to grow from that action, and continue to move forward in my life to have the best life possible, you know? That's what it's about. You think about any trade that anybody does or any, you know, if you're a cook or if you're a chef or if you're a gardener or whatever you do for out of passion in your heart, you know, the first time you did something, you didn't do it perfectly. You know, when you look at somebody that has a perfect garden, it didn't happen the first time they did it. They've learned when to plant things, how to plant things, where to plant things, you know, when to water them, you know, what side of the house it should go on. They've learned those things over time. When you cook, you know, when people say, I love your cookies, I love your cake or whatever you make, your casserole, you've learned over time, I put too much salt in it the last time, or this. These are all things, if you look at them on a trivial, superficial level, are mistakes that we made. Well, when you raise it to a greater level, okay, a human level, we are human and we are going to make mistakes, and you allow yourself that, okay? You allow yourself, I'm going to make mistakes in my life, okay? I'm going to try my best not to. I'm going to try my best to educate myself and learn before I make the mistake. But if I do, I'm not going to beat myself up about it. The best I can do, take accountability, try to work on it, and move forward. That's the best thing that I can do in my life, you know? So I think it's really important to allow that, you know, for yourself. Because there's going to be people out there that will not allow you to move on from the mistake. And that's okay. That's their issue. It's not your issue. Don't allow those people to keep you stuck in the mistake. You know, that one mistake in your life doesn't define you. What defines you is if you choose to stay in the mistake and you choose to not grow from that. And I have learned that from so many people in my life, you know, when I would continue to bring things up and say, yes, but, yes, but, yes, but. And then they'd say, you're stuck. You know, you're stuck in the mistake. Like, grow from it. Why don't you want to grow from it and be the best version of yourself that you can be? And that's where I try to live today, you know, and realizing that there's probably some things I'm not going to do perfectly. There's probably a lot of things I'm not going to do perfectly, you know? And when I don't, to look at it and ask people that know better than I do to educate me on how I can be a better version, you know? So that was a fantastic meditation. All right, last one from the language of letting go. Let's see what it says to us for May 19th. Watch. These have been so good. I was like, is it May 19th? Yeah. These have been so good that it'll be something that doesn't fit, right? I don't know. Solving problems. May 19th. Shame is the first feeling that strikes me whenever I or someone I love has a problem, said one recovering woman. Many of us were raised with the belief that having a problem is something to be ashamed of. This belief can do many damaging things to us. It can stop us from identifying our problems, can make us feel alienated and inferior when we have, or someone we love has, a problem. Shame can block us from solving a problem and finding the gift from the problem. Problems are a part of life. So are solutions. People have problems, but we and our self-esteem are separate from our problems. I've yet to meet a person who didn't have problems to solve, but I've met many, yeah, that's right, boo. Yeah, but I've met many who felt ashamed to talk about the problems they actually had solved. We are more than our problems. This is what I was just talking about. Even if our problem is our own behavior, the problem is not who we are, it's what we did. It's okay to have problems. It's okay to talk about problems at appropriate times and with safe people. It's okay to solve problems. And we're okay even when we have, or someone we love has a problem. We don't have to forfeit our personal power or our self-esteem. We have solved exactly the problems we've needed to solve to become who we are. Today, I will let go of my shame about problems. There you go. That's what I was just talking about, you know? And it's about, to me, like one of the best lessons that my friend Tanya has taught me, and she's one of the wisest people I know, is to get in the solution, not in the problem. To stay in the solution, you know, and be part of the solution. So when something's going on and there's some problem in your life, you have to ask yourself, are you part of the complaining? Are you part of what's going on? Are you part of the solution? Let's move through this, you know? And that goes with, you know, gossiping and talking about stuff and whatever. It's like, now my phone is ringing. So, you know, it's about being part of the solution and moving through it and moving on. And I want to be part of the solution today. I want to learn from the problems and the mistakes in my life, you know? I made a mistake. I make mistakes. I'm going to continue to make mistakes. But I want to be part of the solution. I want to be part of the lesson today, you know? Because to me, that is really, really the meaning of life, is continuing to learn and grow as a human being. Because when you do, you're able to enjoy life more fully, I believe. So anyway, let me know what you think about those meditations. I love you guys, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.